All right, y'all, it's that time of the year again. Let's get into my Grammy nomination predictions. Y'all ready? Let's go.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid, and I'm back again with another episode of On the Bright Side TV. Welcome back. How you doing? Hope you're doing very well. I know it's been a little minute, y'all, but I had to come back with my video that I do every year where I give you guys my predictions for the Grammy nominations. So this year's Grammy nominations for the 2025 Grammys will be dropping on November 8th. And the Grammys will be happening, I think, at the very end of January or early February of 2025. So this Grammy year the eligibility ran from pretty much September 22nd of 2023 to August 30th of 2024. So anything that, dropped before then or after then is not in this year's eligibility window. So keep that in mind when you're asking, oh, why didn't you include this person, that person? They had to drop within the eligibility year. So I am excited for this year's Grammys. This has been a very stacked, and I don't think we're really feeling it because we're in the year. But I think when we look back on 2024, this has been an amazing year for music. It's been a stacked year for music. So many people have dropped left and right, from the A-level stars to the B and C level, D level. Like everybody has dropped. Everybody has dropped at least a song or album this year. Like it's been an amazing year. There's been a lot of stuff happening in music this year. So I'm excited to see how it all shakes out at the Grammys. It's gonna be a really competitive year. So I'm excited to see who pushes through the noise and who really gets to shine in such a competitive year. I'm looking forward to seeing like who will still shine with the nominations this year. But then again, as always with the Grammys, there's always going to be some bullshit, as we know, every year. So I'm going to get ready for that as well. I'm going to mentally prepare myself for the bullshit because I know it's coming. I would definitely say, like I've been saying every year, as the years go on, as the years go by, I become more and more disenfranchised with the Grammys. I become less and less like in tune with how important they are in my life. But I do recognize, as someone who's passionate about the music industry, I do recognize how important it is for the industry. So I will always tap into them, and I will always consider them to be a very important facet of the industry and just of the music business and how artists promote and get recognized. It's definitely a part of the yearly cycle of how things go. At the end of the day, even though there's been a lot of issues over the years, as we all know, I've talked about them in past years. At the end of the day, the Grammys are going to be here and they're not going anywhere. So I'm going to talk about them as long as they're here. So let's get into it. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Like I do every year, I'll give you guys my final picks for every category, who I think will be the final like 5 or 8 or whatever in each category. And then I'll give you guys like some alternative options that I think could squeeze into the category as well. And then at the end of the video, I'll just talk about some other categories and other thoughts I have. And at the very end, I'll post screenshots of like my full list of my final picks, alternative options, and like long shots that I don't want to talk about in the video, but I still want to document in case like they end up happening, so I can show you guys that I did think there could be a long shot in that category. So I'm gonna talk about all the categories that I care about, and as usual, let me know what y'all thinking. Let me know who you're rooting for, and let me know what you think about my predictions. And also, if you haven't already, don't forget to join my Patreon. Link below in the description. On my Patreon, I have all my exclusive videos, just like my fun, like my long reaction videos, and just other exclusive content that I won't have on my YouTube. I'll have my Patreon, so definitely go check out my Patreon. Again, link below in the description, okay? Appreciate y'all. Go join the community. But all right, y'all, let's get into it. Without further ado, here are my 2025 Grammy nominations predictions. Y'all ready? Let's go. All right, y'all. First up, we got Record of the Year. So my final picks for Record of the Year, we got Now and Then by the Beatles, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, Lose Control, the live version by Teddy Swims, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, A Bar Song, Tipsy by Shaboozey, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Just as a reminder, Record of the Year is more so about the vocal performance and the production of a song compared to songwriting, which is more so the Song of the Year award. So I feel really good about these final 8 that I have. I don't know if it'll be the final 8, obviously, but I feel really good about a lot of these making it in the end. Some alternatives I have for this category, definitely Agora Hills by Doja Cat. I could see her slipping in. Lovin' On Me by Jack Harlow. I don't see it slipping in, but it was one of the biggest songs of the year, so why not? Beautiful Things by Benson Boone can definitely be an alternate for sure. One of the biggest songs of the year. Saturn by SZA. I love this song. I could definitely see it making a play. We Can't Be Friends, Wait For Your Love by Ariana Grande. I had her in my final 8 for a long time, but I took her out at the last minute. She could definitely can make it in, but I don't have her making it in my final 8. But if she makes it in, I won't be surprised. Love you, Ari, but I don't think you'll make it in, but I'll love it if you do. Too Sweet by Hosier. One of the biggest songs of the year. I could definitely see it happening for sure. Good Luck Babe by Chaperone. Similar to Ariana Grande, I had her in my final 8 for a long time, but then I took her out for some other songs. But I could definitely see her making it in for sure. Fortnite by Taylor Swift and Post Malone. Even though it's one of the biggest songs of the year, I don't like the song at all, and I don't see it being popular enough this year to have made it to the final 8. But it's Taylor Swift, so we can't be surprised if that happens, but I hope it doesn't. And $1 Million Baby by Tommy Richmond. Could definitely see that happening. I Had Some Help by Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. Again, one of the biggest songs of the year. Not a song that I like and that I don't see making it in, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And lastly, 360 by Charlie XCX. So these are all songs that I could definitely see making it into Record of the Year, but I do feel good about my final 8. So next up is Song of the Year. So my final picks in Song of the Year, we have Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, Too Sweet by Hosier, Good Luck Babe by Chaperone, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter, and Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Sabrina, I think she submitted Please, Please, Please to this category, which I think is perfect, because that's how I would have submitted it too. I feel really good about this final 8 as well. It probably won't be this, because I probably won't get it perfect, but I do like my final 8. I feel good about a lot of these making it into the final list for Song of the Year. So we'll see how it goes. But for my alternative options for this category, I definitely have a lot of similar ones to Record of the Year. So again, Agora Hills by Doja Cat, Saturn by SZA. I really wanted Saturn to make it into this category, and I had it in my final 8 for a long time, and I really wanted it to happen so badly, because Saturn to me is one of the dopest songs written this decade, in my opinion. But I don't think it'll happen, but I'm really pushing for it, and I hope it does happen. Again, We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love by Ariana Grande. I could definitely see it making it in here. A broad song, Tipsy by Shaboozey. I don't see it making it in, but a lot of people have it predicted for this category, which is fine. I don't see it, but it could happen for sure. Fortnite by Taylor Swift and Post Malone. Again, don't like the song. Hope it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen, because it's Taylor Swift and Post Malone. And lastly, I Had Some Help by Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. Again, not a song that I like, but one of the biggest songs of the year. I could see it happening, even though I hope it doesn't. So those are all my final picks and my alternatives for Song of the Year. Let me know what y'all think about that category. Next up, we got Album of the Year. Always the biggest category every year, so let's get into it. And my final picks in this category, I have The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chaperone, Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande, Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, Only God Was Above Us by Vampire Weekend, The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish, Brat by Charlie XCX, and Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. So I think the first thing that sticks out to me with my predictions is that it's a lot of pop, which I was trying to avoid, but I feel like I really couldn't avoid it this year, because I feel like pop really dominated this year in terms of not so much the commercial side of things in the charts, but really when it came to, I think, people who made statements this year, a lot of it was pop girls. So I think I'm right about the prediction, but let's see what happens. But alternatives for this category, we got Chronicles of a Diamond by Black Pumas, Higher by Chris Stapleton, Coming Home by Usher, which I don't see happening, but because he has such a good year, it could happen. Why not? What Now by Brittany Howard, She's Beloved by the Academy. I could see it happening. The Jesse Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. I could see that happening as well. He's also beloved by the Academy. Deeper Well by Casey Musgraves. I wanted to include her in so bad. It's my final 8, but I just couldn't find room to squeeze her in. But if she does get nominated, I'll be so happy for her, and I won't be surprised, because her last great album, Golden Hour, won Album of the Year. So her last album, Starcross, kind of flopped a little bit. This album was great. It was really critically adored. Really great album. Kind of went back to like more of her country roots. So I feel like it could be embraced to an Album of the Year nomination. But I think because this has been such a competitive year, I don't know if Casey will get the nomination. But if she does, I'll be so happy for her, because it was a great album. Scarlet 2 Claude by Doja Cat. I can see it happening. Where I've Been Isn't Where I'm Going by Shaboozey. I don't even know if he'll make it into country album, but for some reason, because of the year he had with a bar song, I could see an Album of the Year nomination happening in a crazy situation. I could see it happening. Algorithm by Lucky Day. I could see him kind of filling that R&B slot if it's not Usher. I could definitely see that happening. Also, speaking of the R&B slot, Bando Stone and the New World by Childish Gambino. I could see that filling like, another R&B slot for more of the progressive R&B side for sure. And lastly, F1 Trillion by Post Malone. Big album by a big artist this year, so I could see that happening for sure. Even though it didn't really make that much noise beyond its singles, but I could see it happening. So those are all my thoughts and my picks for the album of the year. Let me know what y'all think down below. All right, next category is Best New Artist. Always one of the most exciting categories every year. And I'm really excited to see what happens this year for sure, because this has been a great year for Best New Artist. And my final picks for Best New Artist, I have Benson Boone, Chappell Roan, Doechii, Ray, Sabrina Carpenter, Shaboozey, Sierra Farrell, and Teddy Swims. So I had Ray my nominations last year. She didn't make it, obviously, but she can submit again, and I hope she makes it this year after hopefully the Grammys realize that they messed up by not nominating her for anything last year. So hopefully they make it up to her with the nomination in Best Artist this year. And I feel good about everybody else in this category. They're all frontrunners to me. The only person I don't feel that good about is Doechii. But Doechii's my personal pick, so I'm kind of hope-predicting her. I hope she gets in because I feel like she deserves it. She's had a great year with a great project with her mixtape, and I feel like she's had a great entrance into the game. So I really hope she gets nominated for Best Artist this year. She deserves it. She's my pick, but I can see her not making it, but I hope she makes it in. Other alternatives for Best New Artist, I think a lot of these artists have a great shot at making it in for sure. We got Biba Doobie, Brittany Spencer, Dasha, Flo Milli, Hardy, Infinity Song, John Summit for the dance world, Chloe Wetzel for country, Megan Moroney in the country world as well. I could definitely see her having a great shot to make it in. She was in my final group for a while, but I took her out. But I could definitely see her making it in. Peggy Gou for the dance world as well. Renee Rapp as also like somewhat of a makeup nomination for snubbing her last year. I could see them, nominating her this year as well. A lot of people have been talking about Renee Rapp again. Sexy Red, I don't want it to happen, but I can see it happening in a crazy world. She's had a big year. Why not? The Last Dinner Party from all that rock alternative slot, as well as the Red Clay Strays for that rock alternative country slot as well. And Tommy Richmond, who I don't think will happen, but because he's had a big year with his song $1 Million Baby, I could see it happening. And he just put out his album Coyote in September as well. So I could see him getting a nomination, but I doubt he will. So those are all my final picks and my alternatives and Best New Artists. I'm pretty sure I have all 8 artists will be nominated somewhere in my listing. If anybody else is nominated, I'll be surprised, but I'll be excited to see who it is. So let me know what y'all think about my picks down below. All right, now we're on the pop category. So first up, we got Best Pop Solo Performance. So in my final picks for this category, we got Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love by Ariana Grande, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. I feel really good about this final group. I feel like this will be the final 5 that'll make it in the end come November 8th. But of course, if I'm wrong, I have alternatives. And for my alternatives in this category, we got Agora Hills by Doja Cat. I can see it happening, a really big song this year. Greedy, the acoustic version by Tate McRae. I doubt it, but it could happen. Greedy was a big song last year. One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan, cute song. Houdini by Dua Lipa, love this song. Down, I adore this song. It's like Under the Bubble, so I can see it happening, but it probably won't happen. Standing Next to You by Jungkook, doubt it, but had a moment late last year, so I could see it. Lose Control, the live version by Teddy Swims. I think he'll miss the pop categories, even though I put him in the general field, but he could be nominated here for sure. Bodyguard by Beyonce. She submitted Bodyguard here. There's always surprises in the pop categories, so I could see it being like a Beyonce record. Even though it wasn't like a single or like a big song, but it could happen. Love Bodyguard Down, so I would love for that to happen. Also, Too Sweet by Hosier. I could definitely see it happening, one of the big songs of the year. I Can Do It With the Broken Heart by Taylor Swift. It's her submission for this category, even though I don't think, it wasn't like one of the biggest songs compared to Fortnite and her other singles in past years. It wasn't a big splash of a song, but it's her submission, so I can see it happening. If they want to just get Taylor Swift a lot of love, why not? And lastly, Apple by Charlie XCX. All right, on to one of the driest categories this year, no shade, and that's Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. Let's get into it. My final picks in this category, I have Levi's Jeans by Beyonce and Post Malone. Love that song. Fortnite by Taylor Swift and Post Malone. Feels Like I'm Falling in Love by Coldplay. The Boy Is Mine remix by Ariana Grande, Brandy, and Monica. and Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. So I feel really good about 4 out of these 5, even though I think this is a dry category. I do feel good about what I predicted. The only one I'm not sure about is obviously the Boys Mine remix. I'm not sure about that one. I'm like predicting it and I'm hoping it happens because I love that song. I love the remix and I love, Brandy, Monica, Ariana Grande. Like, come on, I love that. And there'll be a moment if they got nominated, but I'm not sure if it will happen. But more of a hope prediction, but we'll see what happens. And then for alternatives for this category, I have Better Place by NSYNC, 3D by Jungkook and Jack Harlow, Escapism Live by Ray and the Heritage Orchestra, which I think could be a really cool surprise pick in this category. I could see it happening for sure. Like for that 5th slot instead of the Boys My Roomies. I could see it happening. Everybody by Nicki Minaj and Lil Uzi Vert. Cute song. Igual que un Angel by Kali Uchis and Peso Pluma. I could also see this being a surprise pick as well to kind of satisfy the Spanish crowd, the Latin crowd, with the song that did really well this year by a duo. Us by Gracie Abrams and Taylor Swift. Somebody Save Me by Eminem and Jelly Roll. And Guess by Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish, which I could also see being definitely a song that makes it into the final 5, even though I personally don't want it to happen because I don't think it should get a nomination. It's a cute song, but I don't think it deserves a Grammy nomination, but I can see happening for sure. So let me know what y'all think about this category. All right, now we're on to Best Dance Pop Recording. So for my final picks in this category, I have Yes And by Ariana Grande, I Don't Wanna Wait by David Guetta and One Republic, Miles on It by Marshmello and Kane Brown, L'amour de ma vie, Over Now Extended Edit by Billie Eilish, and Von Dutch by Charlie XCX. So I do feel good about the final picks I have here, although I do feel like this category is somewhat wide open. I feel like the only lock I feel like I have in my mind is Yes And, but other than that, I feel like this category is pretty much wide open. But I do feel good about what I have here. Other alternatives for this category, we got Me Started by Troye Sivan, When We Were Young by David Guetta and Kim Petras. Definitely see that happening is for sure. Whatever by Kygo and Ava Max. Another DJ, pop girl collaboration I could definitely see making it in. Make You Mine by Madison Beer. I'm not really familiar with the song, but I know a lot of people have been predicting in this category. A lot of people have been talking about it, so I could see it making a play. Addicted by the Chainsmokers, Zerb, and Ink. A really cute song. I don't think it'll make it in, but the Chainsmokers I feel like are made for this type of category, so I could see it happening. And Chase It, Da 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 by BB Rexa. I love that song. Unfortunately, it didn't make too much of a splash for it to make my final 5, but I would love for it to get in if it did. But I don't think it'll happen, but it could. So those are my picks and my alternatives for Best Dance Pop Recording. Let me know if you guys think I missed anybody. I would love to know down below. Appreciate it. All right, now we're on to Best Pop Vocal Album. So I feel like I have this category pretty much on lock. I feel like it's one of the easiest categories to predict this year. I'll be surprised if I get it wrong, but let's see what happens. For my final picks for this category, I have The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan, Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande, The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish, and Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. A fire year for pop albums besides Taylor Swift, no shade. But I feel like this 5 is the 5. I'll be surprised if it's not. But I could also see a lot of people making a play for like that 5th spot. So speaking of my alternatives for this category, I have a few. We got Something to Give Each Other by Troye Sivan. I don't think he'll make it in, but he had a really great album, so I could see it happening. Think Later by Tate McRae. Again, not the most critically adored album, but she has some big songs and she had somewhat of a splashy year, and so I could see it happening, although I doubt it. Did Just Say Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. I could see it being like a weird surprise pick, but I doubt it. It's too much of a competitive year. But he submitted it here, so why not? Everything I Thought It Was by Justin Timberlake, which I really wanted to have in my final 5 for a long time, and I was trying hard to, but I couldn't deny that his album kind of came and went this year. Even though I think it's an amazing album, it did come and go, so I don't see it happening, but I would love for it to be nominated, but it probably won't. Tyla by Tyla. My girl came through with an amazing album that deserves. Unfortunately, it's too competitive of a year, so I don't think she'll sneak in with her debut album, but she submitted it here, and I could see her being a surprise pick, but I doubt it, but I would love for it to happen. Fireworks and Rollerblades by Benson Boone. Again, I don't think his album made as much of a splash as his songs, but his album still did well, so I could see it happening. And his album was critically adored, so why not? And lastly, Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa, a pop album that I loved this year, but I feel like the general public wasn't in love with as much. So I don't think it'll translate to a nomination for this album, but I loved it and I hope it does. I would love for it to, but I don't think it will. But it's definitely in line for a nomination for as well. So those are my picks and my thoughts on Best Pop Vocal Album. Let me know what y'all think down below. All right, y'all, now we're on to my favorite categories, the R&B categories. Let's go. First up, we got Best R&B Performance. So in my final picks, we have Risk It All by Usher and Her, or potentially Ruin with him and Fields. I know he submitted both tracks to his category, so we'll see what gets nominated, but I think he has at least one of these will get nominated. I Want You Forever by James Samuel, D'Angelo, and Jay-Z. I think that could be a really cool sleeper pick in this category. Made for Me, live on BET by Money Long. Residuals by Chris Brown. And Here We Go, Uh-Oh by Coco Jones. I don't feel that great about this final five. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not sure, but I just want to go with these final five. The two songs I feel like pretty sure about is Made for Me and Risk It All. But other than that, I feel like this category is wide open, which is actually exciting. So I'm excited to see like what happens in the end. Other alternatives I have for this category: Call My Name by Jordan Sparks. She sang down on that song. I would love for it to get nominated, but it probably won't. I Left My Heart in Ladera by Terrace Martin, Alex Isley, and Robert Glasper. Great song. Spend the Night by BJ the Chicago Kid and Coco Jones. Great song. Probably by Andre Day. Saturn by SZA. I had her in my final five for a while, but I took her out at the last minute. Persuasion by Bryson Tiller and Victoria Monet. I would love for that to happen. Sleeper song this year, a great record. Nasty by Tinashe. I also considered her for a while too, but I couldn't put her in the end, although I kind of want to, but I don't see it happening. Although I would love for it to happen, but not really, because it's, vocally, but like it's a bop, you know what I'm saying? Hurricane by Lucky Day. I could see it happening. I had it in my final five for a while too. All Yours by Normani. I wanted to squeeze her in, but I just couldn't. But I'm rooting for Normani. Keep Her by No Worries and Thundercat. I could see that happening. One Wish by Raven Lenae and Childish Gambino. Great song. I could see it happening. I considered it. And lastly, SOS Sex on Sight by Victoria Monet and Usher, which I don't think will happen, but I would love for it to happen because I love both of these artists, and it's a cute song. Not my favorite song by both of them, but it's a cute song, and I would love for them to get nominated together. So I would love for that to happen. So those are my final picks and alternatives in Best R&B Performance. Let me know what y'all think and if I missed anybody. All right, now we're on to Best Traditional R&B Performance, which is a category that I think will be really good this year. I'm excited to see what happens. And my final picks, I have That's You by Lucky Day, Never Change by BJ the Chicago Kid and Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire. Love that song. Bridge Over Troubled Water by Jacob Collier, John Legend, and Tori Kelly. What About the Children by Gary Clark Jr. and Stevie Wonder. And Make Me Forget by Money Long. So I really feel good about this lineup. The only two I feel like certain about that I'm pretty sure will get nominated is Lucky Day's song and Bridge Over Troubled Water by Jacob Collier. The rest, I feel like, it's a wide open category, but I feel good about the rest of them. Other alternatives in this category, I have Perfect Stranger by Lettucey and Kenny Lattimore. Great record. I Don't by Brittany Howard. Please You by Usher. Really good album track that he submitted here. Can I Have This Groove by Kenyon Dixon. Love that song. I would love for it to get nominated. He got nominated last year for Lucky. From Here by No Worries, Snoop Dogg, and October London, which I had in my final five in this category for a long time, and I really wanted to be in, but I couldn't fit it to my final group. I switched them out for Money Long, but I do love From Here, and I hope it gets I would love for it to get nominated if it does. I Found You by PJ Morton. And Worthy by Mavis Staples. So these are all songs that I feel like have a great shot at being nominated in this category, but I do feel good about the final five picks I have. So let's see what happens in this category. I'm excited. All right, now we're on to Best R&B Song. My final picks in this category are That's You by Lucky Day, Risk It All by Usher and Her, Saturn by SZA, Technicolor by Justin Timberlake, and Ruined Me by Money Long. I love this lineup. I think this is a great Final Five. Obviously, probably won't be the Final Five that'll be nominated, but I love the group I have here. I feel certain about Lucky Day and Usher and Her and SZA. I feel certain about those 3 songs. The other 2 spots are definitely up for grabs, but I really liked what I picked. I thought Justin Timberlake was a really fun pick, and I love that song. It's such an amazing song that I feel like deserves a nomination. And Money Long, Ruin Me, amazing record that deserves. So well written, would deserve the nomination. But we'll see what happens. Other alternatives and best R&B song, we have a lot. I Want You Forever by James Samuel, D'Angelo, and Jay-Z. In Your Hands or Because I Love You by Halle. I'm not sure which song she submitted. I think she submitted both, but I can see either being nominated. She was nominated last year for her song Angel, so I can see happening again this year. What About the Children by Gary Clark Jr. and Stevie Wonder. Great message on that record. Tyrant by Beyonce. She submitted Tyrant here. I'm not sure why. I'll talk about that later, but she submitted Tyrant here. So I can see Tyrant happening because it's Beyonce. Persuasion by Bryson Tiller and Victoria Monet. I love that song. I can see it happening. Residuals by Chris Brown. After Hours by Kehlani. Love this song. Here We Go, Uh-Oh by Coco Jones. Really well written song. So I can see it happening. And I had her in my final group for a while, but I took her out. I Found You by PJ Morton again. One Wish by Raven Lenae and Childish Gambino, which I had in my final 5 for a long time, pretty much up until the end, but I took her out for I think I want to say either Ruins Me or Technicolor, but One Wish is a really well written song that I could see being nominated, so I wouldn't be surprised. And then again, lastly, SOS Sex on Sight by Victoria Monet and Usher. I could see it happening as well. So those are all songs that I feel like have a great shot being nominated, but I feel good about my final 5. But I'm excited to see what happens because this is going to be a great year for this category regardless. So next up we have Best Progressive R&B Album. My final picks in this category, we have I Left My Heart in Ladera by Terrace Martin and Alex Isley. Amazing project. Chronicles of a Diamond by Black Pumas. Why Loud by No Worries. Great project. Bando Stone and the New World by Childish Gambino. And Bird's Eye by Raven Lenae. So I love this lineup, and like I said, all great projects, but I do think, this will be a year where they'll purposely try to get a lot of projects nominated that want big successful projects, commercially successful projects, to make room for a clear winner, which I think will be Childish Gambino, which is fine because it's still a great lineup regardless. All the alternatives I have in this category, I definitely see all these albums having a great shot for a nomination. We have Lahai by Sampha, Larger Than Life by Brent Faiyaz, Bryson Tiller by Bryson Tiller, Party Next Door 4, P4 by Party Next Door, Crash by Kehlani, Endless Night by Meta, Love Heart Cheat Code by Hiatus Kaiyote, which I had in my final 5 for a while, but I finally took them out so I could put in Raven Lenae's album. It made more sense to me, even though I do love Love Heart Cheat Code, but I don't think it'll make it in this year, even though I love that band. Trouble in Paradise by Chloe, which I would love to see make it in, but I don't think she will. And Quantum Baby by Tinashe, which I don't think will make it in, but she could off the strength of Nasty, but I doubt it. But she has a shot. So those are my final picks and my alternatives in this category. Let me know what y'all think down below. All right, now we're on to Best R&B Album, which I think is going to be a great category this year. In my final picks, I have Gravy by BJ the Chicago Kid, Coming Home by Usher, Good Life by Ledisi, Algorithm by Lucky Day, and Revenge by Money Long. So I feel good about this lineup for sure. The only locks to me feel like Usher and Lucky Day. The other 3 spots are definitely up for grabs, but I do feel good about BJ, Ledisi, and Money Long. I feel good about all of them, but let's see what happens. Other alternatives I have in R&B album, we have The R&B You Love by Kenyon Dixon, an amazing album that really would deserve a nomination, but I don't think you'll get it. Falling or Flying by Georgia Smith, which dropped at the very top of the eligibility year. So again, another album that might be forgotten by this point, but a great project. Golds by Cleo Soul, similar thing. The Color Purple, music from and inspired by the soundtrack for The Color Purple. I could see it happening for sure. A Heavy by Sir, great project. 1111 Deluxe by Chris Brown. This album had a lot of amazing moments for songs, but as a whole, I don't think it should be nominated, but definitely could, especially since, 2 years ago, his Breezy album was nominated, even though it really shouldn't have been, so it could happen again. Cassandra Cherith by Andre Day. Amazing album that definitely went under the radar this year, but it's a great project, so I can see it happening. I had her in my final 5 for a while, but I took her out for Legacy. Vanta Black or Vanta Black by Layla Hathaway. Another great project. Layla is a Grammy darling, so I can see it happening. Dopamine by Normani. I wanted to squeeze her in so badly, but I just couldn't, y'all. As much as I want to root for Normani to get a nomination with her album, I don't think it will happen. But if it does, I'll be happy for her. But I don't think it will happen. But Dopamine is still a great project. And While We Wait 2 by Kehlani. Another album that, it dropped at the very end of the eligibility year, so it should be fresher on minds, but it didn't really make that much of a splash, so I don't think it'll happen, but, she's definitely in line for a nomination for sure. I could see her squeezing in. So those are my thoughts, my final picks and alternatives on R&B album. I can't wait to see what happens to this category because it's a stacked year regardless. All right, now we're on to the rap categories. First up is Best Rap Performance, and my final picks, I have Lovin' On Me by Jack Harlow, Hiss or Mamushi with her and Yuki Chiba by Megan Thee Stallion, depending on which one she submits and is voted. Carnival by Kanye West, Ty Dolla $ign, Rich the Kid, and Playboi Carti. Yeah Glow by Glorilla, and Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. So I feel pretty good about this final group right here. I feel like the only locks to me are Lovin' On Me and Not Like Us. The other spots all up for grabs. I feel pretty good about Hiss too. I'm assuming it'll be Hiss that'll be nominated, or maybe Mamushi, I don't know. But I think Megan is pretty good for a nomination here. Carnival and Yeah Glow are definitely vulnerable, but I feel good about them as well. Other alternatives for Best Rap Performance, we got Fuck the Club Up, FTCU by Nicki Minaj, Red Rum by 21 Savage, Get In With Me by Bossman D-Lo, Whatever She Wants by Bryson Tiller, Fiend by Travis Scott and Playboi Carti, Enough Miami by Cardi B, which I would love to get nominated because I love that song, but it kind of came and went, which is unfortunate, but I love that song. Like That by Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar, which I was trying to squeeze in here, but I don't think it'll happen. But I definitely could see it happening, one of the biggest rap songs of the year. But I still think it'll miss. But if it happens, I won't be surprised. Okay by JT, Band for Band by Lil Baby and Central C, Houdini by Eminem, which I hope does not happen, but it could. Parking Lot by Mustard and Travis Scott, and Nissan Altima by Doechii, which I had in my final 5 for a while, but I took her out because I don't see it happening, but it definitely could. So those are my thoughts for my final picks and alternatives in Best Rap Performance. Let me know what y'all thought about it down below. All right, now we're on to what I think is one of the most boring categories this year. No shade, but let's see what happens in the end. And that's Best Melodic Rap Performance. So for my final picks for Melodic Rap Performance, we have Never Lose Me by Flo Milli, Spaghetti by Beyonce, Linda Martell, and Shaboozey, We Still Don't Trust You by Future, Metro Boomin, and The Weeknd, $1 Million Baby by Tommy Richmond, and Free Fall by Tems and J. Cole. So to me, the only locks here are definitely Never Lose Me and $1 Million Baby. I'll be shocked if one of those two or both of them miss. The other 3 spots are all up for grabs. I feel good about what I have, but a lot of them are kind of like more of like hope predictions and just fun predictions, especially if Free Fall by Tems and J. Cole. So let's see what happens in the end. But I do feel good about Spaghetti happening, and we still don't trust you. So let's see. Other alternatives I have for this category, I have some interesting ones. Transparency by 2 Chainz, Lil Wayne, and Usher. That was a cute little record. I can see it happening. Prove It by 21 Savage and Summer Walker, which I think has a really good shot at a nomination here, because even though I don't think to me it's like the most like sophisticated song, it's a song that's done really well all year, even though it wasn't given a push as like a single, so I could see it happening. Jizu by James Samuel, Doja Cat, and Kodak Black, and Adekunle Gold. I could see it happening as a sleeper pick for sure. Act 2, Date at 8, the remix by 4Bats and Drake. That was a moment when it dropped, so I could see it happening. Poetry in Motion by Sir and Anderson .Paak. Love this song off the Sir album. I could definitely see that happening as well. Anderson .Paak is a Grammy darling. Why not? Acknowledge Me by Doja Cat. That was definitely a standout off of that Scarlet 2 Claude album. So I could see it happening if they want to give love to Doja Cat. Feel Away by Kichinada and Don Toliver. A standout off of the Timeless album. So I could see it happening. And lastly, I hope it doesn't happen, but I just want to mention it because it could. And that's Quavo and Lana Del Rey's Tough. Hate that song. Hope it doesn't happen, but it could happen, so I had to mention it. So those are my thoughts on this category. Let me know if y'all think I missed anybody, and let me know what y'all think about my lineup down below. All right, next up, we got Best Rap Song. So my final picks for this category, I got Red Rum by 21 Savage, Hiss by Megan Thee Stallion, Yeah Glow by Glorilla, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, and Nissan Altima by Doechii. So I love this lineup. I feel good about this group, but I will say the only one I feel for sure about, the only lock to me is Not Like Us, which makes sense. The other four could not happen for sure, but I hope I'm in the ballpark with my lineup, and I'm definitely rooting for all the ladies in this category because I feel like hopefully I'm predicting this to be, and I think it can be a female-dominated category, which I think will be dope. So let's see what happens. Other alternatives I have for Best Rap Song, Lovin' On Me by Jack Harlow, which I hope does not happen, but it's one of the biggest songs of the year, so it could. To me, I like it in performance, not song. Fuck the Club Up by Nicki Minaj, I can see it happening. I considered it for a while. Carnival by Kanye West, Ty Dolla $ign, Rich the Kid, and Playboi Carti, I can see it happening, even though I like it more in performance rather than song. Getting With Me by Bossman D-Lo. I had him in my final five for a little bit, but I didn't put him in the end, although I would love for this to happen, but I don't see Bossman D-Lo being on the Grammy radar like that, but I love that song, and I would love for it to get nominated, because it's such a good rap song, but I don't think it'll get nominated. But that song is written so well, it's structured so well, so I would love for it to get nominated, but it probably won't be. Whatever She Wants by Bryson Tiller, I could see it happening. Enough Miami by Cardi B, I could see it happening. Like That by Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. Outside of the Kendrick verse, I don't think that song is that great, but because it's one of the biggest songs of the year, I could see it happening, but I don't think it should be nominated, but it could be. $1 Million Baby by Tommy Richmond, I don't think it should be nominated, but again, a really big song this year, so it could be. Okay by JT, which I had in my final five for a while, and I really would love for JT to get this nomination, but I don't think she's at that level yet where she'll get a nomination, but Okay is a great record and really should be nominated for Best Rap Song. Really well-written song. Band for Band by Lil Baby and Central C, I can see it happening. And Brokey by Lotto, which is a late entry into the year, so I don't know if it'll maybe hit at the right time. It could happen, I don't know, but it's kind of just blowing up now, so I don't think it'll happen, but it could, so let's see. Next up is Best Rap Album, which I think is really interesting this year because I feel like it's kind of dry, but it's not at the same time. I don't know how to explain it, but in my final picks for Best Rap Album, I have American Dream by 21 Savage, Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q, Scarlet 2, Claude by Doja Cat, The Auditorium Volume 1 by Common and Pete Rock, and Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. So I feel good about this final five. The only lock to me feels like 21 Savage, I want to say. And I want to say Schoolboy Q as well, but I could see Schoolboy missing, but I hope he doesn't miss. The other slots are all up for grabs, but I feel good about Doja Cat. I feel good about Common and Pete Rock as like the legacy, legendary, older generation slot. For people, for legends who are still rapping their ass off, I can see that slot being filled by Common and Pete Rock. And Doechii feels like a really cool, like kind of sleeper surprise pick for me in this category. She dropped at the very end of the eligibility year with an amazing mixtape that I think could be nominated for a rap album of the year because it's that good of a project. And Doechii's on fire right now, so why not? So I feel good about those picks, but let's see what happens. Alternatives for Best Rap Album, we have a lot. Pink Friday 2 by Nicki Minaj. Her album kind of came and went besides the singles, so I don't know, but it's Nicki, so she could definitely get in. Vultures 1 by Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign. I hope they don't get in. That album was pretty solid, but I don't think it should get in, but it could. It's Kanye West. We Don't Trust You by Future, Metro Boomin. Same thing. One of the biggest albums of the year commercially, but I don't think as a whole it was that great, so I hope it doesn't get nominated, but it could. And if it does, I won't be surprised. Please Don't Cry by Rhapsody, an album that would deserve the nomination. Rhapsody is amazing, but this album came and went and didn't make that much noise, so I don't see it getting nominated. Dark Times by Vince Staples, same thing. Great project by Vince, but it didn't make that much noise, so I don't know if it'll get nominated. Megan by Megan Thee Stallion. Her album was not that great, but she is, loved in the industry, and she is a great, artist, so I can see her being nominated for that more so than the album itself. But I hope it doesn't get nominated because it wasn't that great of an album as a whole. The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace by Eminem, an album that wasn't critically, loved like that. But Eminem always does get nominated, so I had to put him here as an option. But I hope he doesn't get nominated because his album as a whole wasn't that great. But it wasn't bad, but it wasn't loved, and but it's Eminem, so we'll see. He always gets nominated. Killer Mike's album, Michael and the Mighty Midnight Revival, Songs for Sinners and Saints. He won last year, so this album didn't have as much visibility. It didn't make as much noise, but I could see it happening. He just won last year, so why not? At least for a nomination. And lastly, Sugar Honey Iced Tea by Lotto, which is another solid project that came out this year. So I can see her having a shot at a nomination for sure. All right, now we're on to Best Music Video, which is a category that I don't know if I have the best hold on this year. I don't know if I have the right idea of what I'm doing, but let's see how it shakes out come nominations morning. So for best music video, my final picks are Fortnite by Taylor Swift and Post Malone, Genesis by Ray, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift by A$AP Rocky, and Die With A Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. All great videos, all great moments. Excuse me. The only one I feel like is a lock, maybe I'd say was Fortnite and Not Like Us. But I could see both or one of them missing for sure. But I hope Not Like Us does not miss. But I think to me those are the two locks. The other three are not locks, but I feel good about them. So let's see what happens, especially Ray's Genesis and A$AP Rocky's Taylor Swift. He's been nominated before. He always has great videos. So these are all really great videos. So, and I like the simplistic nature of, Die With A Smile, even though it's not like a, huge concept, all that big budget, but it's really well done. So I can see it happening off the strength of the love of that song. Alternatives I have in this category, One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan. That was the moment when it came out. We Can't Be Friends With Your Love by Ariana Grande. Beautiful video, beautiful story. So I could see it being nominated for sure. Thrown Around by James Blake. I love that video. Really cool and creative, interesting concept and art direction. Next to You by Kehlani. That video made a really beautiful statement on, the whole Palestine-Gaza conflict and all that, and her stance on it. So I really loved and appreciated that. So I can see it being nominated off the strength of that alone. And lastly, Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter, which is another really cute video that had a really cute story to it. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this category, if I'm on the ball with, my picks here, but these are my picks, so let's see what happens. I probably missed a bunch of people, so let me know down below if you think I missed anybody who had a really great video this year that probably is in line for a nomination. All right, next up we got Best African Music Performance, which is from now on always going to be one of my favorite categories and one of the categories I'm always most excited for every year because hello, African boy, Naija boy, you know what I'm saying? So for my final picks in Best African Music Performance, we got Sensational by Chris Brown, Davido and Lojay, Commas by Ira Star, Love Me Jeje by Tems, Tishwala Bam by Tito M, Yuppe, Burna Boy and SNE, and MMS by Ashake and Wizkid. So I feel good about this lineup. It definitely can go a bunch of different ways, but to me the only lock here is Love Me Jeje by Tems. I want to say maybe Commas by Ira Star, but I can see that missing as well. But I feel good about the lineup in general. But like I said, it can go any which way. So we'll see how it shakes out in the end. Alternatives for this category, we have Number One by Tyler and Tems, which I think has a great shot at a nomination as well. I considered Tyler and Tems for a while, but I don't know. I don't have them in, but I think Tyler has a great shot to be nominated again for Number One. Although I feel like she should have submitted Truth or Dare instead of Number One, in my opinion. But whatever. Favorite Girl by Darko and Des Dior. Cute record, that's a banger. Higher by Burna Boy, who I had in my final five for a while, but I took him out to put in Ashake's MMS. But I can see Burna Boy's Higher getting nominated. I'm not sure what song he submitted, but any song off of Rema's album, Heist, depending on whichever one he submitted. One Call by Spinall, Omale, and Tyler. I love this song, and I hope it gets. I would love for it to get nominated. Probably won't be, but I love this record, and it would deserve a nomination because it's such a cute song. I'm not sure which song he submitted, but whatever song Fireboy DML submitted off of his album Ade Damola, and Joy by Angelique Kidjo and Davido. I can see that being a sleeper pick as well by two, African legends, African faves in the Afrobeat African genre. So I can see that happening as well. So those are my final picks and some alternatives for Best African Music Performance. Let me know if y'all think I missed anybody who had a really big African song this year across the diaspora. Let me know down below. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. Now I just want to quickly talk about some other categories that I don't usually talk about in depth, but I just have some predictions for, so I want to mention them really quickly. First up, let's talk about the country genre. So I want to do the country album first. I think I have a really good hold on who will be nominated for country album, even though that's not usually my wheelhouse. It's been a really big year for country, so I feel like I have a good idea of who will get nominated. So I want to say I think I'll have 3 or 4 of these right in country album, and that's Chris Stapleton's Higher, A Deeper Well by Casey Musgraves. I'm expecting to see that album. Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, obviously. F1 Trillion by Post Malone. Whirlwind by Lainey Wilson, and also potentially Shaboozey's Where I've Been Isn't Where I'm Going. So those are all albums that I feel like are pretty much all set for a nomination. Besides, I don't think Shaboozey will make it in, but he could. But I think those are all albums that are definitely in contention for the final 5 in country album. I feel really good about it. I also expect to see, all of those same artists in the country solo, in duo performance categories and country song categories as well. Chris Stapleton, It Takes a Woman in country solo. Casey Musgraves, The Architect in country solo. Beyonce with 16 Carriages in country solo. Shaboozey with a bar song Tipsy in country solo. And yeah, so those are some predictions for country solo. For country duo, group performance, I think the only prediction I know for a fact I think will happen will be, I think Post Malone and Morgan Wallen's I Had Some Help, and Beyonce and Miley Cyrus's Two Most Wanted. I feel like those will be locks for that category. So let's see what happens. For alternative music albums, some albums I'm expecting to see in that category are definitely What Now by Brittany Howard, Only God Was Above Us by Vampire Weekend. I think both of these albums are in contention for an Album of the Year nomination, so I think they'll definitely make into alternative album. And as well as St. Vincent's All Born Screaming. I think she has a shot at a nomination, although I think she's kind of outside and on the bubble this year with her album, but she's always been like a consistent nominee in past years, but I think St. Vincent is on the bubble this year, but she could be nominated. So those are some things I expect to see in an alternative album, as well as possibly Biba Doobie. I think she also could show up as like a newer artist in the alternative categories as well. And even though I don't think she submitted to the right category, Willow's album and Pathogen, she submitted it to alternative album. I could see it happening, although I doubt it, but I would love for it to happen because that album is amazing. I also want to talk about alternative jazz album, which I think will be a really exciting and amazing category this year because there's so many things that are eligible for it this year that I think will be a dope category, however way it shakes out. We have New Blue Sun by Andre 3000. I think he'll get nominated for this category. We also have Kamasi Washington's album Fearless Movement. I'm pretty sure it'll be nominated. We also have Bilal's Live at Glass House, which I don't know if it'll be nominated, but it was submitted here. We also have Casablanca by Marsha Ambrosius. That's a really dope, like alternative modern jazz album, R&B album. That was amazing. So I can see it happening. As well as Michelle Angiocello's No More Water, The Gospel of James Baldwin. I can see that being a nomination. And also Robert Glasper's album Cold Derivation. So those are all albums I could see being having a slot in alternative jazz album. Let's see what happens in that category. It looks like it's gonna be a fire category this year. For the global category, I have a lot of predictions, but the main one I want to predict is YG Marley's Praise Jah in the Moonlight and Best Global Music Performance, and Thames' Born in the Wild and Best Global Music Album. I have a few other songs and albums that I think could get nominated in the global categories, but I'm not going to go through them now, but those are the main two I think will be nominated. Some albums I'm expecting to see in the Latin Pop Album category. Some big Latin Pop albums dropped this year. We have Orquídeas by Kali Uchis. We also have Shakira's album, Las Mujeres Ya No Loran. And we also have Funk Generation by Anita. So I can see all three of those albums having a shot at Latin Pop album. In the dance field, I think I'll expect to see a lot of people, but the two that come to mind in terms of people I listen to and I'm focused on, definitely Kaytranada. I think I'm gonna see his album Timeless and Best Dance Electronic Album, as well as Charlie XCX's Brat, which I think will win the category because I think she'll be in line for Album of the Year nomination. So I think Brat will take over. I think Brat and Charlie XCX will take over the dance categories. And for Best Dance Electronic Recording, I'm expecting to see Charlie XCX's 360 and Kaytranada's Witchy with him and Childish Gambino. So I'm definitely expecting to see those nominations in Best Dance / Electronic Recording. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? Also, maybe Peggy Gou, her album I Hear You for a dance album. That could also happen as well. For music film, I'm expecting to see a few people, namely Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour film. I definitely think that'll be nominated for Best Music Film, as well as American Symphony by John Batiste. I think that could be nominated in music film. Also, possibly Gaga Chromatica Ball by Lady Gaga. I can see that being a nomination for music film as well. And I think that's pretty much it. The only other things I want to mention is that for Best Jazz Performance, I'm expecting to see Samara Joy's You Stepped Out of a Dream. Love that song. And I also hope Willow gets nominated for Big Feelings for Best Jazz Performance. She ate that song up. And that to me, that's one of my favorite recordings of the decade so far. I hope it gets nominated for Best Jazz Performance. It's out of this world what she did on that song. So I hope it gets love at the Grammys. And also I'm expecting to see Tank and the Bangers for Best Spoken Word Poetry Album for their album, The Heart, the Mind, and the Soul. I'm hoping to see that. But yeah, man, those are just some other nominations that I'm expecting to see in other categories I don't talk about as deeply. So yeah. All right, y'all, real quickly, I just want to talk about some submissions that didn't happen that I want to talk about because I feel like they really should have happened, and I don't understand why their teams didn't really do the right thing. So quickly, artists that didn't submit across the board that I really feel like should have this year, and that's Drake and Zach Bryan. Drake, we know why he don't fuck with the Grammys no more. We get it, fine. But I really feel like he should have submitted. But whatever. Zach Bryan, he felt like, music is not a competition. I don't want to submit. I get it, but submit your shit, but whatever. So those two artists didn't submit across the board. Dua Lipa did not submit Houdini or Illusion to Best Dance Pop Recording. I don't know why. I feel like that category was the only chance to get a nomination this year, and I feel like Dua Lipa will have no nominations this year, which is unfortunate. She only submitted Houdini to Best Pop Solo, which is fine, but why not submit Houdini or at least Illusion to Best Dance Pop Recording? I don't know why she didn't do that. Doja Cat did not submit Agora Hills to Melodic Rap Performance, which does not make sense to me. It fits in pop solo, but I feel like it fits better in melodic rap. And I feel like it actually would have gotten a nomination in melodic rap, whereas she won't get nominated for Best Pop Solo. She could, but I doubt it. So I feel like she missed out on a clear nomination by not submitting Agora Hills to melodic rap. But let me know what y'all think. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. I'm not mad at it being in country album, and we could talk about it more in the comments if y'all want. But I really feel like as an album, it fit better in Best Americana Album. I'm not mad at Beyonce going for the country album in terms of the politics of it all, because I'm here for it. But musically, I feel like, and for people who are like more in the country Americana world, let me know what y'all think about it. But I feel like listening to her album, I feel like her album fits more Americana than country, because her album has a lot of like modern elements and more electronic elements than just like a straight up country album. So I feel like it fits more in Americana. But let me know what y'all think. But I'm not mad that she's in country, but I feel like she would have had a more surefire shot at a win with it being in Americana rather than country. But she could still win country, but I feel like it fit better with Americana. But I'm not mad that she's in country. So let me know what y'all think about that. Yeah, so I'm assuming Beyonce really won't miss out on a nomination regardless of wherever she submitted. But let's see about the win, to be honest. I think maybe the CMA snub could fuel her win in Best Country Album, but I feel like she would deserve it obviously nonetheless. She would deserve it nonetheless, but let's see how she'll do with the win. I think she'll get nominated regardless, but I'm not sure about the win. But let's see how she does. She definitely, I think, could win and probably will win, but let's see what happens. And speaking of Beyonce, she did not submit Two Hands to Heaven to the R&B categories, and I feel like that would have been an easy thing for me to do if I was on her team. I really feel like Two Hands to Heaven is like the most beloved R&B track on the album, so why not submit it? She only submitted Tyrant to Best R&B Song and then Nothing to Performance. I don't know why. I would have submitted Two Hands to Heaven to both categories. And I feel like she could have got a nomination in either one or both, but she didn't do that. Camila Cabello, she didn't submit To Me the Right Songs to Pop Duos group performance. She submitted I Love It with her and Playboi Carti. That song is, it's whatever. I feel like she should have submitted Hot Uptown or He Knows with Drake and also Lil Nas X, but whatever. Robert Glasper did not submit his album in December to R&B Album. I feel like that should have been an easy submission. It wouldn't have been nominated, but it would have been an easy submission. Lucky Day submitted Algorithm to R&B Album instead of Progressive R&B Album, and I feel like this album would have fit better in Progressive R&B Album, but it's fine. Also, same thing with Normani. She submitted Dopamine to R&B Album, although I feel like it might have fit better with Progressive R&B Album, but not a big deal. Speaking of R&B Album, PJ Morton did not submit his album Cape Town to Cairo to either Progressive R&B Album or R&B Album. He only submitted it to Album of the Year, so I don't know why, but that's fine. I guess he didn't feel like neither of those categories fit the album, which is fine. I guess it makes sense. Maybe he submitted to Best Global Music Album. I don't know, but... and also Brandy, my girl, did not submit her album Christmas with Brandy to either R&B Album or Traditional Pop Vocal Album. And I feel like she should have submitted it to at least one of those categories. I don't know why she didn't, but her team didn't. So that's unfortunate. Beyonce also did not submit her movie Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, to Best Music Film. And I don't know why, because I feel like that would have been an easy nomination for her. I don't know why she didn't submit it, but she didn't. That movie was amazing. So, it is what it is. But also, Ira Star didn't submit her song, Last Heartbreak Song with her and Giveon to the R&B categories. And I feel like that she should have did that. I don't know why. It was probably one of the most successful songs on the album outside of Comma. So I don't know why she didn't submit it to the R&B categories, but it is what it is. I said this before, Tyler did not submit Truth or Dare to African Music Performance. She submitted number 1 with her and Thames, which is a cute song, but Truth or Dare was the bigger song for her this year. So I don't know why she didn't submit that song to African Music Performance, but it is what it is. Kehlani also submitted Borders to R&B Performance instead of After Hours. And again, I don't know why. After Hours is the big hit for her this year. Borders is just an album track that nobody, only her like true fans know about. But I would have submitted After Hours to R&B Performance, but it is what it is. Doechii and JT submitted Alter Ego only to music video. And they didn't submit it to dance pop recording or melodic rap performance. And I would have submitted it to one of those categories, but they didn't. I don't know why. And if I were Willow, I would have submitted Empathogen to Best Alternative Jazz Album. I feel like it would have gotten a nomination there. She submitted it to Best Alternative Album, which I think is fine, but I feel like it fit better in Alternative Jazz. I don't know why she didn't submit it there. I feel like she would have gotten a nomination too. She won't get nominated for Best Alternative Album. I mean, she could, but I doubt she will. And also, I feel like Fiend by Travis Scott and Playboi Carti, it should have been submitted to melodic rap, but they submitted it to rap performance, which is fine, but I feel like it would have fit better for melodic rap performance. And yeah, that's it. So those are just some submissions that I wanted to talk about that didn't happen that I feel like should have happened. That would have, I think made the nominations a lot better this year, but this happens every year, so it is what it is. But all right, y'all, those are my predictions for the 2025 Grammy nominations. Like I said before, the nominations will be dropping on November 8th. So let's see how I did. I'm excited to see what I got right, what I got wrong. And let me know, as always, what are your predictions? Let me know who you're rooting for down below. Let me know what you thought about my predictions and what you thought I got right, what you thought I got wrong. Even before the nominations drop, this is all fun, guys. Don't get too in your feelings. Don't get too personal about things. It's not that deep. These artists will all be fine. Their teams will be fine. We'll all be fine, guys. It's not that deep. Let's have a fun discussion down below. Let me know what y'all think about, my predictions, who you think will get nominated this year, who you think will have a dominant year this year. I'm predicting, Sabrina Carpenter to have a really big year, Chaperone as well. I think Beyonce will have a pretty big year as well, with nominations in different fields. Yeah, so those are people that's off the top of my brain who I think will have a really good year. Billie Eilish too, Kendrick Lamar, I think will have a really big year at the Grammys. Yeah, there's a lot of people, but those people that come to mind initially. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens. I can't wait to see. I'll be back with another video next month when the nominations drop, reacting to the nominations, and then also giving you guys my predictions for who I think will win. I'll do that later this year. But for now, let's enjoy predicting who we think will be nominated, okay? All right, y'all, but that's the video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go join the Patreon, okay? Appreciate y'all. Link below in the description. Go join the Patreon, get your life, have fun to my other content. Appreciate it. But all right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. This has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. But for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
Came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. don't gotta worry, you can just